The presence of the colors at the center of the formation represents their presence at the front of the unit during the heat of battle. Since the days of the American Revolution, flag bearers have been an important element in ceremonies, as soldiers adjust their position in formation by dressing on the colors. At the center of today's formation and bearing our national colors, Army flag, take-on flag, and the Anniston Army Depot flag is the Tank Automotive and Armaments Command Color Guard. The non-commissioned officer in charge of the Color Guard is First Sergeant Christopher Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the rendering of honors, the singing of the national anthem by Ms. Chanel Curry Billups, and the invocation given by Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Michael DiRienzo. Today's official party consists of Major General Darren L. Werner, Commanding General, United States Army Tank Automotive and Armaments Command, Colonel Eric A. McCoy, outgoing commander, Colonel Craig A. Daniel, incoming commander.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Join me in prayer from your tradition as I pray in mine. Father, thank you for this morning and this occasion to celebrate the success of Anniston Army Depot under Colonel McCoy. Bless Colonel and Bernice McCoy and their family during their transition. Guide Colonel and Patty Daniel as they lead, and grant our workforce continued safety and success in all dimensions of their lives. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. The presentation of bouquets of roses and mementos to outgoing and incoming commanders' spouses and family members has been an ongoing ceremonial tradition. Ms. Carol Gruber will be presenting on behalf of the Anniston Army Depot employees a bouquet of flowers to Colonel McCoy's wife, Ms. Bernice McCoy, in a tradition symbolizing the appreciation for her support to Colonel McCoy and the family during his tenure here at the depot. The proud heritage of our armed forces began more than 200 years ago when citizens joined together in a common cause, the quest for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The change of command is a time to honor part of that tradition by formally restating the authority of command. The change of command is a transfer of total responsibility, authority, and accountability from one commander to another. The change of command is a simple traditional event that is rich with symbolism and heritage. Key to the ceremony is the passing of the unit's colors. These colors represent not only the lineage and honors of the unit, but also the loyalty and unity of its soldiers and civilian workforce. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing his or her responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there also are the colors. The custodian of the colors for the Anniston Army Depot is Mr. Thomas Carlisle, Deputy to the Commander. At this time, the official party will take their positions for the passing of the colors. The passing of the colors symbolizes the transfer of command responsibility from the old commander to the new. The passing of the unit's colors demonstrates to the unit that the old commander has passed the mantle of leadership to the new commander, and with this also passes the loyalty of the unit to their new commander. Today, the passing of the Anniston Army Depot colors symbolize the transfer of command authority for the depot from Colonel Eric A. McCoy through Major General Darren L. Warner to Colonel Craig A. Daniel. By the authority of Army Regulation 600-20, paragraph 2-5, Army Command Policy, the undersigned assumes command of Anniston Army Depot, effective 11 July 2023, signed Craig A. Daniel, Colonel, Logistics Commanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Major General Darren L. Warner, Commanding General, United States Army Tank Automotive and Armaments Command.
All right, good morning, everybody. Just check to see if you're awake out there. Can you hear me in the back? Yep, okay, good. It's a quiet crowd, quiet crowd. What a great day here at Anniston, Alabama. Let me hear something from you. Roll Tide. Okay, got a Roll Tide. That was good. A couple hooahs out there. That's good. It makes me feel better. So thanks so much for getting out here this morning to Anniston Army Depot, a place that over the last 2 years has had an incredible amount of activity, of energy, of excitement, of delivering results. And we'll talk about a little bit of that. And as the Commanding General of TACOM, I'm honored to be here this morning as we bid farewell to Colonel Eric McCoy and Bernice and their family. Eric came in 2 years ago, and I was just remember the day that we were here under the same pavilion, under the same shelter, and how all of you were sweating. Today's a much better day. Not quite as hot. But I'm excited to acknowledge and recognize Eric as he leaves this fine organization and bring on board Craig Daniel into the fold of the Anniston team. And I'm excited to watch that transition occur here today and then see the great results that will continue to come from this great Army Depot. So to our distinguished guests, our visitors, thank you for being here, for taking the time out to be part of this event today here at Anniston, and your continued support for our Army and for this Army Depot. To my fellow officers and members of the senior executive service that are here, our family and our friends, thank you as well for taking time out to recognize this important event. And to those who work so hard, to those of you and many of you that I get to see moving around here with a purpose, with this distinct purpose that is making things happen. It's just like what we see in all the buildings here. And when there's a mission, it's done, and it's done with precision, it's done with purpose. And to the team that's put this event on today, I want to thank you very much for the hard work and for carrying out this ceremony, and what a well-prepared and executed ceremony. And to our national anthem singer, where did you go? Are you still out there? There she is. Well done. What a great, let's give her a round of applause. Doesn't matter how many times I hear the national anthem, it always makes me feel a special way. And when it's delivered like that, it's even more impressive. So thank you. And to Chaplain DiRienzo, thank you for the inspiring invocation, for finding the right words of encouragement for us and inspiration for today. Your words remind me that we all travel this path together, and that our success depends on how we work as a team together. So as I close, I get closer to my change of command, which is going to happen next week. I wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate and commend the entire Anniston Depot team for what you've done every day for our soldiers. Not only our soldiers, but for soldiers defending and fighting for freedom around the world. You're an extraordinary group of professionals who provide critical support and readiness to the men and women serving our nation and serving to defend freedom. They depend on the dedicated people here to ensure they have the tools they need to defend this great nation and to promote the ideals of our nation around the world. Our warfighters succeed. Our warfighters succeed because of what you do every day here at Anniston. The men and women of Anniston Army Depot succeed, and our nation succeeds. Your success ensures the success of our entire planet. I just think about that. And I say it, and I don't mean it to be overly embellishing what you do here. But just look around. Look around at our world today, and how, as an Abrams tank rolls across a courtyard in a city, or into a motor pool in a country around the world, how that representation of what is going on here at Anniston, what that means to the security of our nation and to freedom. So to all of you, thank you for your service. Thank you for your service to our country. I'm going to give you a round of applause. So Eric, 2 years ago, you took command of this great organization here at Anniston, and during the following 2 years, you did an exceptional job of managing this highly specialized workforce of more than 4,000 soldiers, civilians, more civilians than soldiers. We know there's only 4 of you, right? So 4,000 soldiers, civilians, and contractors, and directing an operational budget of nearly $1 billion. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of responsibility, and we hold our leaders responsible and accountable for getting every penny out of that $1 billion that we could possibly get. And Eric, you've done that for us. You and this team have gotten every penny out of that $1 billion, And it's so important that we rest assured at night that we have leaders like you and the team here at Anniston to ensure that. Your efforts in leading this team significantly increased Anniston's productivity and capabilities over the last 2 years. It's been incredible. Those increases came through expanding investment in our workforce development, boosting diversity, and making long-term commitments to our employees here at Anniston. Making it easier, using the tools that we have to bring on board the very best to fill positions that we have here. We often talk about numbers, but the Army has always been first and foremost about people. And Colonel McCoy's leadership and efforts are a fine example of just what that looks like, what that ideal is all about. Colonel McCoy, you took care of your people both physically and mentally with your motivational Mondays, your social media posts, and hands-on approach to ensure that everyone on your team felt valued and appreciated. Eric, I remember our first day together. My words to you is your place is in the depot. Your place is down inside the buildings, interacting, being part of the team, being part of what Anniston is all about. And you've done that. You've done it through social media, you've done it in person, you've done it in every way you could think of to be a part of this organization and to make a difference. Your focus on putting people first has led to a safer workplace. Your commitment to safety is clearly shown through Anniston's safety program. Your hands-on approach and involvement with the installation safety efforts saw the depot safety issues decrease during your command. And this is just important for everybody to recognize that this resulted in a rate of about half of the industry standard, half of what most factories demonstrate here. A metric that points to your laser-like focus on safety. So that is certainly a legacy to be proud of. And I know, Colonel McCoy, under your leadership, the depot reset major combat systems, and I could go on all day about the impact that's had, including M1 Strikers, Paladins, Howitzers, M88s, and other equipment. Small arms, not to name everything, but a lot of stuff. A lot of things that were put on ships and moved across the Atlantic. And not only there, but also across 6 geographic combatant commands and joint services, while also supporting 11 allied countries and what their requirements are. To date, the depot team has reset nearly 5,000 secondary items and approximately 45,000 small arms. That support that Anniston and you have provided to warfighters around the world is an inspiring feat. We often talk about building the modern Army of 2030. That Army right now is being built here at Anniston, right here, right around you. You can see the evidence of that. So, Colonel McCoy, you strengthened, you improved, you made better, you created relationships with state and local officials and the Chamber of Commerce to successfully market the depot's capabilities for partnering opportunities with private industry. And as a testament to that level of effort, Anniston has increased its number of ongoing public and private partnerships. Your efforts have been recognized by the Governor of Alabama for the impact they have had on our local community here in Anniston and in the surrounding areas. And building those types of relationships with our communities is a success. It's not only just a success, it's just brilliant that we have that relationship. And it never gets old. So thank you. Thank you for what you've done. But, you know, there's still a lot of work to do. As we all know, that here at Anniston, every day, there is another requirement. And no doubt there's still work to be done, but your accomplishments have been outstanding. You are to be congratulated and commended. The road wasn't easy. It wasn't always clear. And I personally think the opportunity to jump on teams with you for good conversations about just how can we see the future clearer? How can we chart a better path to make Anniston the best it can possibly be? And I want to personally thank you for your leadership and the remarkable team that you've been part of and the leadership you provided through some of the most challenging times we've seen in the Army in decades as we ramped up to support both Ukraine and, not to forget, that big mission that we started with in supporting our ally in Poland. So I'm confident that as you transfer to your next assignment in the Pentagon, of all places, who wants to go to the Pentagon? Well, that's not a bad place to be, and I know, Eric, you'll make a big difference when you transition into your new position. You'll have even greater success there than what you've had here. So to you, Eric, thank you so much. So also, we have to think, and we cannot ever forget about what stands behind every great soldier. A family of a soldier is highly, in my household anyways, there is no more important group of people than those individuals that stand behind the soldier, who keeps that soldier, I mentioned to Bernice earlier, who applies the boot as necessary to keep that soldier motivated to do the right things for our nation. So thanks also to the family. We, the Army, understand that the center of everything we do is in our families. And Maria and Solomon and Joseph, who aren't here today, but they're already leading the way into the next chapter of the McCoy family, already in Maryland. We thank you for what you're doing. And, you know, hopefully you're able to watch this live and talk, give your dad some feedback on his speech when he comes up here in a minute, and let him know where he made mistakes and where he could have done better. Because I know I've got two boys at home that they like to do that. They like to keep the old man straight. So hopefully you're watching and you hear these words of thanks that we send to you. Your support did not go unnoticed, and your accomplishments are a testament to why our Army is so dedicated and appreciative of our families. To Bernice, you are clearly the rock behind Colonel McCoy, and it's always wonderful to see you two together because it reflects on how much you love each other and how much support you provide each other, and it's a pleasure to know you, and it's important for guys like me to know that you've got a team out there that's got a great family to go home to. On those bad days, on those good days, you bring a sense of relief when it's needed. So, Bernice, thank you so much for everything you do. And to Eric's dad, Andrew, who's here from Maryland, another person who, when you meet right away, I had the pleasure of having dinner with him last night, and I can tell by his energy that where Eric's energy comes from. It's very evident to me that, you know, Eric came from a family of people who care, who are dedicated, hardworking, and Mr. McCoy, thank you so much for being here and bringing your brother along, Richard. It's great to meet you as well. So fortunately, when a leader moves on from an organization, the Army has a plan to replace that individual with yet another outstanding officer with the skills, experience, and leadership qualities needed to guide the organization into an increasingly challenging future. TACOM always gets the cream of the crop, and it's a testament by the row of former commanders that we have here. A great group of individuals have led a legacy here at Anniston, and it's true. Our very best come to Anniston to lead this very important operation. There's none like this in the world. This is it. This is a one-of-a-kind location on the planet that does more. You know, it's almost, I want to go back into my old Army commercial days and say, well, you do more here before 9 o'clock than anybody does all day. Well, that's true, and especially because of the heat. TACOM always gets the cream of the crop, and Craig, you represent that. You're one of the best officers in the Army, and is on your track record shows that. You were commissioned in 2000, so this officer comes to you commissioned in 2000. I say that, and I think, whoa, I'm getting old. 2000 just seems like yesterday. 2003, we were crossing the berm into Kuwait, or into Iraq from Kuwait. So in 2000, and you went through the ROTC program at Radford University in Virginia. And from there, you were a quartermaster officer going through the basic course and assigned to Korea, where you got your feet wet in the Army. What a great career you've had, culminating most recently in graduating. You graduated, right? I didn't check. Yeah, okay. Graduating from the Air Force's War College. We're so happy to have you here at Anniston. Before going to the Air War College, you were the Chief of Future Operations, Plans, and Exercises for the Joint Staff at the Pentagon. And that, of course, is a challenging job. And coming here after the War College is a great use of that tool that you learned in planning and building the future for the Army. The experience you gained while serving in numerous staff leadership positions, as well as your previous command experience, make you an ideal leader to guide Anniston in the future. And this is all about the future. We've got today under control. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in here. Tommy would be out there running around. People would be all doing stuff. We got today under control. It's tomorrow we've got to be prepared for. And Craig, you come here helping build a tomorrow that's going to be very successful. It's going to be very bright for us. Colonel Daniel, you have my confidence as you take command of this remarkable team. I know that you will successfully move this organization, this wonderful depot that we have forward, and you are capable of dealing with challenges and obstacles that come with being a depot commander. You being here, just like I told Eric, being out in this organization and getting to know the people that make this place tick is going to be your success. Over time, the leadership you provide to this team will make it even stronger and quicken the already strong pace of innovation and change that has been established here under the watch of the previous commanders. I know you understand the needs of our men and women in uniform, and I know that what you do here directly impacts the Army mission on a daily basis. I also know that Anniston Army Depot, the family that's here, has already extended a warm welcome to you, your wife, Patty, and your sons, Jackson and Lincoln, who are not here today, but I'm sure will be here soon to enjoy the nice, warm Alabama weather. Enjoy that Alabama weather. So you're a great Army family, and we're grateful that you're here and ready to lead our team here at Anniston. So, Eric, Bernice, Craig, our leadership team has just transitioned. Thank you. Thank you for taking on this responsibility. Thank you, Eric, for what you've done. Craig, thanks for taking over and keeping the team going. And to all of you that are here representing Anniston Army Depot, thank you for what you do every day. This world needs you to be able to deliver on time, high quality, and without adversely impacting our workforce, so they can be ready to deliver tomorrow as well. I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank you for your support to this wonderful depot that is represented here in Alabama. And I want to thank you all for my time while serving as a TACOM commander, for knowing that if I had to call on somebody, your number was the number one on the list. Your number was first to call, because you'll get it done. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 37th Commander of Anniston Army Depot, Colonel Eric A. McCoy.
Major General Warner, Brigadier General Vickers, Command Sergeant Major Heller, St. Helen, elected officials, community partners, past and present commanders, family members, alumni, employees, and friends of the Anniston Army Depot, good morning, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedules to participate in today's ceremony with us. First Sergeant Jackson, your team looks great out there. Thanks to you and the backbone for making Von Steuben proud through your standards and your discipline. And to the members of the TACOM Color Guard, thank you for representing the soldiers we support and adding a special touch to the event. I would like to take a moment of privilege with the assistance of the illustrious Command Sergeant Major for TACOM and ask the color guard to uncase. Thank you, Command Sergeant Major. Again, thanks also to Ms. Curry Billups for a stirring rendition of our national anthem and our chaplain for invoking the presence of God for today's ceremony, which is another hallmark in the 82-year history of the Combat Vehicle Center of the Free World. Logistics is the lifeblood of our Army, and the artisans represented by the colors before you represent the incredible lineage of both the soldiers and Army civilians who came before them. Our Army has been through organizational changes before. And for those students of history in the audience, Army leaders and units have come and gone almost in a cyclical way according to the needs of the American people and the government. Much like Alabama weather, if you don't like what you see, wait for a moment in time and it'll probably change. I went to school to be a social worker before eventually deciding on becoming a logistician. And occasionally I go back to my training in that field. The only thing constant in our Army is change, and one how it reacts to change can typically correlate to their success or failure as a team. Although I knew as soon as I took the colors on a muggy July morning like this one 2 years ago that this day would come, I still experienced what psychologists call the Kubler-Ross model, which is otherwise known as the 5 emotional stages experienced by the survivor of an intimate's death. And that's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And critics of Kubler-Ross argued that her model did not adequately take into the personal environment and what the personal environment means. And oftentimes, people who surround themselves with positive experiences will see things differently from those who surround themselves with negative ones. To wit, if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. I agree with that, and argue the way that our depot got to this waypoint in history and will move beyond to our next rendezvous with destiny isn't because of great processes, it isn't because of great technology, it's because of great people. And logistics is about expanding the art of the possible with those people, so it would be remiss of me not to thank those who made the latest chapter of our depot's history possible. So first I have to thank God for the opportunity and always walking beside me. And I talked to the chaplain about my imperfect spiritual walk. And when he came out to our prayer breakfast, I remember that oftentimes for those who practice the Christian faith and they talk about God talking directly to people, and that's very few. Most of the time God talks to us through dreams and through other people. And I thank God for putting great people into our workforce and our community for this season of my life. To quote one of my favorite gospel singers, Travis Green, all things are working for our good. He's intentional, never failing. And I thank God for never failing me, even though I felt at times I may have failed him or I failed the people here. Second, I'd like to thank my tribe. So to Bernice, my life partner, my co-conspirator, and all-around best friend. The last 24 months have been a rough roller coaster to the ride we started as early as 1995. So 28 years is a long time. My longest relationship as an adult, before the Army, before being a parent, and before being a lot of things. Thank you for hanging with me through thick and thin, even when I wasn't worthy of it. I look forward to us pouring into each other in this next phase of our journey. To my parents, Arlene and Andrew, thanks for teaching me way before the Army how to love on people and molding me into who I am today. And to my legacies, Maria, Solomon, and Joseph, I learned later in this Army journey than I should that you shouldn't invest in other people in the trapping of emails and taskers as much as you miss investing in your very own. Thank you for helping me learn that lesson early on, and I'm glad it isn't too late for us to enjoy our next chapter in this new season. To Major General Werner, sir, thank you for your exceptional leadership of TACOM. From our first encounter 24 months ago under this awning, I knew I was in for an incredible journey as a depot commander in your command. Thank you for balancing rationalized management of a Fortune 500 entity with a very intentional focus on people, sir. The journey was tough with several critical conversations, but I'm confident that Anniston and TACOM are better for your investment. I can think of no leader better equipped to help guide the modernization of the Army's organic industrial base in your next role than you, sir. Wishing you, Melissa, and your family the very best in your next chapter. Command Sergeant Major Charles in St. Helen. The sign of an awesome NCO is where you find them on the battlefield, whether in the industrial areas, a parade formation, or out in our community. Thanks to both of you for your great counsel to me as a commander and displaying what right looks like. Thank you to the past and present officers, soldiers, and civilians who comprise the might of our organic industrial base enterprise, whether at the life cycle management commands, our depots, arsenals, or ammunition plants. Army regulations and the machinations of human resource professionals make us colleagues, but your camaraderie made us friends. Your collective examples inspire me daily to be a better soldier, logistician, spouse, and parent. I look forward to seeing you all on the high ground. To quote two great poet laureates of hip-hop by the names of Christopher Wallace and Sean Carter. First, how you figure that your team can affect my crew. I attribute the success that Major General Werner spoke of earlier to the highly talented, truly dedicated, and insurmountable workforce that comprises Team Anniston. Second, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Logisticians, merchant in facts versus theory. So remanufacturing 1,750 primary systems, 4,832 secondary items, and 95 non-Army FMS items in support of our forces and allies. Exceeding OIB performance metrics and performance to promise, revenue, and productive yield for TACOM depots and arsenals. Executing over 4.8 million direct labor hours in reset for over 776 combat systems, including M1s, Strikers, Paladins, Howitzers, and M88s, and other equipment for our 6 geographic combatant commands and joint services, and supporting over 11 allied customer requirements. But no one will remember these numbers, whether it's 6 months or 6 minutes from now. Oftentimes, our workforce will remember if we treat them fairly, with dignity, and with respect. So to every member of our exceptional workforce, thank you for your personal commitment to this depot and our Army. As you've heard me often say, no soldier or civilian joins our Army and raises their hand and promises to be mediocre. The commanders of this unit over its 82-year history accomplished every mission and made every achievement through your blood, through your sweat, and through your tears. You are the embodiment of our depot's firm and unshakable conviction that providing world-class remanufacturing, reclamation, and deployable maintenance are a special trust and responsibility, and it's one that we take very seriously. The difference between hearing a click and a bang when you pull a trigger is logistics. And our mission from 1942 to today is to provide world-class support whenever and wherever it's required for our nation and our allies. Each and every one of you has a superpower. Find your yellow sun and thrive. To our supervisors and leaders, thank you for your leadership in making all the accomplishments of our organization possible. Whether in the production areas, under a vehicle, engaging a stakeholder, in a classroom, thank you for being everywhere where our employees we lead need and our customers we support need you to be. You have the flashpoint where our operations meet success or failure. While everyone has the potential to have a superpower, not everyone is a superhero. The decision to be a hero or a villain and influence the success of our depot is a direct reflection of you, the knowledge you impart, and the standards you enforce. To our past and present directors and office chiefs for production operations, mission support, and installation management, thank you for your leadership. One of my secrets was to never micromanage our 2,400 plus workforce and 1,000 plus tenants, but to rather empower our directors to be a true team of teams. Thank you for educating me on the nuances of leading in the OIB and taking the time to raise the bar. A team of heroes with all the same powers would make for a boring movie. I charge you to continue building teams that not only reflect the diversity of our depot, but the potential of our country. To our elected officials, industry partners, and community partners in attendance, thank you for pouring into me and the workforce of our depot. General Hamilton often calls the OIB our nation's insurance policy. However, we would not be able to write the checks that he or Major General Werner requires as Army leaders without the cooperation and collaboration of great teammates who live with us side by side in the heartbeat of America. From supporting a shrinking workload coming out of a global pandemic to aiding us in surging requirements for our allies at war today, your friendship and support means more to me than words could express. To my battle buddy and deputy, from the very first day we met, I have learned from you far more than I ever could hope to impart. Tommy, thank you for your candor, your passion, and most importantly, your friendship. This depot would not be the special place that it is without you. Watching all those about faces, you're never too old to learn new tricks. Wishing you, Susan, and your family the very best in your next adventure. Craig, you're about to embark on the most enriching journey of your military career. Welcome to the crown jewel of the Organic Industrial Base. Take care of this great workforce, and they will take care of you. I wish you, Patty, Jackson, and Lincoln the best as you write the next chapter in your lives and the lives of this depot. If I forgot somebody today, please attribute it to being an error of my head instead of an error of my heart. I love being a soldier. I love being an ordnance officer. And I've absolutely loved the 1 year, 11 months, 10 days, 23 hours, 14 minutes, and 37 seconds that I've had the privilege to be the 37th commander of Anniston Army Depot. Thank you for making the ride worthwhile and taking the time to share this special moment with us. Winning manners, committed to excellence, be great on purpose.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 38th Commander of Anniston Army Depot, Colonel Craig A. Daniel.
All right. Major General Warner, Command Sergeant Major St. Helen, General Flag Officers, members of the Senior Executive Service, ancient depot commanders, and sergeants majors, civic partners from the surrounding communities and organizations, representatives from local, state governments, to the soldiers, civilians, families, contractors, and friends of Anniston Army Depot. Whether you're here in person or joining us virtually this morning, thank you all for participating in today's events. Am I excited to be here today? Yes. Am I humbled to be here today? You have absolutely no idea. But today is not about a single person or a single event. It's an opportunity for reflection, gratitude, and optimism. To my wife, Patty, and Jackson and Lincoln, who could not be here this morning, and to my mother, who are all watching today's events, it isn't a journey I participate in solely. I acknowledge that sometimes it may seem that way. So thank you all for everything leading up to today and as we continue into the future. For the mentors I've had that have had the patience, that have simply looked at me, scratched their head in wonder, or stared off in curiosity. Thank you for all you've provided, both officers and senior NCO mentors over the past 23 years. To my peers, again, both military and civilian, their families, whether you're stateside, East Asia, or in some off-the-grid location in Europe, or anywhere else in between, again, thank you all for the past 23 years as well. Eric, Bernice, McCoy, thank you both. Thomas, Susan, thank you all. Chief, and so many others, to include so many conversations this morning that have welcomed myself and the Daniel family with open arms. Thank you all. To the TACOM Color Guard, this is about to be done. And for the hundreds that have put so many behind-the-scene man-hours into today's events, thank you all. To the members of the Anniston Army Depot team, if there's ever a doubt in your mind about why you're here, regardless of what your function is on this depot, look to your left, your right, and behind you. As absolutely nobody looked to their left, right, or behind you. So the vehicles that were mentioned earlier, the M1 tanks, the M88 Hercules, the Strikers, everything else, that's why you're here. You turn your news on at night, you see the fruits of your labor. As Colonel McCoy just mentioned, General Hamilton talks about the organic industrial base being an insurance policy for America. Team Anniston, every single one of you every day transform those words into reality. With that, be all you can be, committed to excellence. Go Dogs.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the playing of the Army song and remain standing for the retiring of the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Colonel McCoy will remain in front for those of you that wish to say farewell. There will be a reception for invited guests at Building 47 in honor of Colonel Daniel. Thank you for attending today's ceremony.